Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Planet Zoo. We are doing career mode, and this is our second episode. And we're going to resume our career mode. We achieved Bronze Star status in the opening tutorial Goodwin Zoo, and now we're going to be trying to get Silver Star status on our way to Gold to complete this first of several tutorial zoo levels. We're doing career mode, which has a dozen or more scenarios,
Well,
and this
Bernie
is the
certainly
first
seems
scenario.
impressed. Did you do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals.
Alright, so this is where she wants us to build a keeper hut, and notice this path, which has the little Planet Zoo logo on it, and has these hexagons. This is a staff-only path, so the regular guests will not walk on it. And, did the ostriches ever come in here? I haven't really noticed them coming. In any case, so the idea of this is to keep the facilities out of the view of the customers. Customers don't really like to see facilities. So if you put it behind a wall there are the ostriches. If you put it behind a wall on an employee-only path, the customers won't see it and they won't be annoyed at the unsightliness. So let's go to the facilities, and we have keeper huts. There are two possible ones. I like this one.
You'll need to rotate the keeper hut to get it to connect up to the path.
Z to rotate, and then there's the front. Move it a little closer, rotate it a little bit more. And there we go. So now we have a keeper hut.
This keeper hut only has space for one keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts
are
and other
ostriches.
staff facilities
Should be
shouldn't
happy.
be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests don't like seeing facility
go.
buildings, and it can affect their happiness. Negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power, and that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we?
So
Now,
there's
the reason
transformer.
everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo. So once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off.
Alright, and apparently as long as your power is clipping the edge of a habitat, the habitat is powered. So this thing, even though it's just a little transformer, it does need to be attended by the maintenance people, so it needs to connect to the roadway, like so.
Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos.
So you can see
Let's get on to
this
your
area
next
is now
objective
powered.
then. Bengal tigers. We
Bengal
want
tigers.
to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away.
Alright, that looks
Righty,
cool.
your next job is to build a habitat from scratch. And concrete and glass, I expect. So go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier.
Alright. So,
Oh,
barriers.
and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
I'm guessing grade 5 will be enough. We're going to continue the theme of this zoo. And I think we're going to make slightly larger increments to this wall than we did with the previous one from the earlier episode. Now that's a little too long, so we're going to need to shrink it down. Not quite that far. Try 23 feet. There we go. And then we're going to go back up to 30 or so. And then shrink again. No, that's a little too short. Let's try 20 feet. just exactly right. And then back up to 30-ish. And so you can see that I can be a little bit of a stickler about how I want things to look. Not sure I want it to actually go into the rocks here. So we'll just come inside it. And connect. So now we have our habitat connected up. Now we need a gate. So where do we want to put that? On the caretaker path right here. Connect up the gate. There we
Now,
go.
Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos,
Now
so
we
we
need
should
glass.
probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the
Over here.
habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode. Great. Now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool.
Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I don't want to do that. Undo. I want to click this and then drag it around. Until we've
Now
selected
you've got all of
everything.
the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters.
3.7 meters. Well, I don't know how many feet that is. Let me see. That would be about 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 feet. So let's try about 13 feet. See if that's right.
Now that the habitat is
Okay.
in place, don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas.
Donation
We
boxes.
need every dollar we can get. Especially as these tigers aren't exactly eating instant
See, it only lets you
noodles for
put
lunch.
one. So if I want to put two, doesn't allow
Okay,
that.
that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think
All
it's
right.
time we adopted those tigers.
Okay, so adopt 2 Bengal tigers. And there they are. Wow. $20,000 to adopt these tigers. Select all, send to the zoo. Go.
Whilst our trusty caretakers collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival.
Okay.
We'll start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them.
So again here, we're going to put the feeding station near
This
the window
time,
for the
instead
guests.
of adding a water bowl, let's try something different. Some animals need a pool in their habitat so they can go for a swim, but they can also use it to drink from. All you have to do is make sure the banks of the pool have a gentle slope so they can easily get a nice, refreshing drink.
You also
There's
need water
already a pool
purification, I
excavated,
believe.
but you still need to fill it with water. You should do that by going into terrain and selecting the water tool. Yes, that'll
There
do
we go.
nicely.
Now
Of
they have
course,
some
just
water.
like the warthogs and ostriches,
Can we go a
these
little higher?
tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some
Pretty cool.
suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitat?
All right. So let's give them a rubbing pad. And what is this? Frozen blood pumpkin. They like licking frozen blood, I
Okay,
guess.
it's really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat so they can hide from the guests, or more likely the bad weather. Although given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the
So we are
blueprint
gonna
that
pop
I've
down
already
the
built
blueprint.
for you.
Since this is tutorial and most of the bits and bobs that I would want to use are probably not unlocked. There we go.
Oh, poor
And they're now
dogs.
happy they have
I'm sure it
hard
can't have
shelter.
escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat.
So we need
Select
more
a
short
tiger and
grass,
bring up its information panel.
less long grass.
Rightio.
and
Click
more
on the
soil.
terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat. Okay then, open the terrain editing tool, select painting, and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare.
Okay, they're happy with the soil. Now they want short grass instead of long grass. There's still a little too much long grass. Now we need a little bit more soil. Wish I could see where the long grass is. Oh, right here.
Right then.
There we
All
go.
animals need plants and trees from their own biome or continent. You know, deserts, savannas, Eurasia, Europe, that sort of thing. It looks like these tigers need a few more plants in their habitat. To get a perfect fit, use plants from the rainforest and temperate biomes
So they have
that
some
are
stuff they
native
don't
to
like?
Asia.
So we
Although
can
if you
remove
have to, you
those.
can get away with using just one or the other.
So they
The
like
tigers will
grassland,
also
tropical,
want a
and
certain
temperate
amount of
Asia.
their habitat to be covered by those plants. To find out which plants to use and how many, select a tiger and go to the Environment tab. Now,
Grassland,
as you can
temperate,
see, some of the
tropical.
plants currently in the habitat aren't quite right for the tiger, like the wattle bushes. You can remove them if you want.
Asia. Alright, so
You can find all of the plants you need in the nature section.
Inappropriate
and you can use the
and more
filters to only
coverage.
show the types of plants you want to see. In this case, that's plants from the rainforest or temperate biomes.
some bamboo trees. Let's put them across the back. Like that. And then maybe an elm tree. Don't want to obstruct the guest view. Maybe that's a little big. Let's try some smaller stuff, like putting this in here. Still not happy? More planned tree coverage. Getting close. Close on the plants. We're still low on the coverage. A little more bamboo. We've now got enough plants. Now just need a little more. There we go. And we have reached a silver star.
They say that good fences make good neighbors. I guess that's doubly true when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still, those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd
That's a
leave,
pretty cool habitat.
even if
I
you
like
did
it.
poke a hole in their fence. Oh, but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
Right. Let's head over to the Indian peafowls. I've been told that we need to improve their social
Indian
welfare.
peafowls are this really cool looking maze garden.
Now then, just find one of the peafowls and select
Click.
them to open their information panel. Then we can have a good gander at how they're doing. Although technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese. Expand their social
Too few
welfare, and we
adults.
can get a bit more detail. Now, they've clearly got plenty of space, and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong.
Too few?
Right. As you can see, the peafowls need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Off you pop to the animal market then.
And there are 3, and you can see female is the pink with the cross underneath the circle. So we'll adopt the 3 peafowls, and then we're going to select them all and send them to the zoo.
Good work on those peafowls. I expect they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her.
Snow leopard. This is a cool zoo. There are a lot of animals in here. It's very pretty. It's laid out very nicely. There's a lot of
Just
cool
like
design.
people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like when you see someone put in the milk before the tea bag.
I don't know where the
In the
snow
case
leopard
of these
went.
snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by their lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barrier by their cave for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option, but I think they're worth the expense, don't you? This will give the
Alright.
snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes of the guests.
So swap the barrier. One-way glass. Did that do it? Can't tell. This is very...
Of course,
There
when
we
an
go.
animal isn't in its natural biome, it's probably going to be too hot or too cold. Unsurprisingly for the snow leopards, it's too hot. Even with the terrible British weather.
Oh, that is
You should
one-way
help
glass,
cool
okay.
it down by adding some coolers to their habitat. But let's start by opening up the temperature heat map and having a look-see at the temperature in the leopard's habitat.
Temperature
As you
heat
can
map.
see, we already
Too hot.
have one cooler in there. Let's pop some more down and get as much of the habitat as chilly as we can. Luckily for us, this habitat already has power, but you'll need to make sure of that in the future. Just so you know, if any part of a habitat is powered, then the whole habitat will be powered. You can find heat maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them. It'll take a
Interesting.
little while for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers or heaters, but now we've got the coolers in, we can address the leopard's terrain welfare. You see, what the leopards really
I
want
still
in
don't
here
see any
is
leopards
snow
in
and
here.
rock, so let's make that happen.
Where are they? I don't see a single snow leopard in here. So that's really interesting. Alright. And that is a one-way glass as well. You can see how you can't see out, but people can see in as they go by. Alright, well let's go ahead and do terrain. Snow. Let's make the size bigger. Now the snow is going to start melting until the coolers kick in.
Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the whole zoo. And that average welfare is a very important
So we need
statistic.
average welfare.
Now, to quickly see
of
how all your
90%.
animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section.
Zoo management.
As you can
Animals.
see, this list shows you the animal's overall welfare. So if something's amiss, then you can quickly pop over to them using the locate button. Right, I'm off for a cuppa while you make sure all the
Alright,
animals
so
are
the
well
giraffes
looked
and
after.
zebras are not happy. It looks like. And the reptiles, the tigers. So let's go see what's wrong with these guys. The turtles. Did I say tigers? I meant turtles. Okay. Let's see what's wrong with these guys. They need hard shelter. So let's go ahead and put some hard shelter in for them. Oh, there's a lot of cool ones. Metal, what do we want? That's kind of cool. I like that one. Let's see. That one. I don't know if they can climb up on that really high bit, though. Let's try a shelter that... Ooh, that's huge. Okay, that's enormous. I think that's way too big for them. How about something like that? Let's try that. Not quite enough. So I guess we need a bigger one. Delete that and try a bigger one. That, maybe? Let's see how that is for hard shelter. Still not enough? Alright, well, we're gonna have to try a little more with them. Let's see what else they want. Too much long grass. And sand, not enough sand, I guess. More sand and more grass. Alright, so let's see. Terrain. There's long grass. Okay, it's happy with that, and now it wants some more sand. And let's make this size a little bit smaller. No, it needs to be bigger because they want a lot of sand. You gotta be careful with this because you can be taking away from the stuff you just added. They need some soil, so we can't get rid of all the soil, right? But we still have to put a lot more sand. How's that look? Close? We're getting very close. And now we're all happy there, but we still need way more hard shelter. I'm surprised they need that much. Let's see what else it wants. We've got some plants that they don't want. So if we take those plants out, we could maybe put another hard shelter or something in. We can select this and move it back a little bit to give us more room. You guys are going to be very slow at this at the beginning. Duplicate. And here's a second one. Let's see, does that provide them with enough hard shelter? They're happy now, okay. And now they want some toys. So we go into the habitat. Enrichment. And we're going to just look for giant tortoise. Why is it not in here? Oh, there it is, Galapagos giant tortoise. And we can give them a ball. And we can give them an herb scent marker. We can put that kind of maybe over here to kind of get them to walk over there and walk over there. And we can give them a food spike tree, but that shouldn't probably be in the water. Put one over there and we'll delete that one. And let's see how they're doing on enrichment. They're pretty happy, so their welfare is over 90% now. So how's our animal welfare doing? It's gone up. We need still a little more enrichment for these guys. Let's give them another ball and a sprinkler. There we go. So they should be pretty happy. And now we want to go back to our animal welfare and sort by welfare again. And now we want to go find the zebras and see what's wrong over here. So what are you guys unhappy about? So the zebra is unhappy with its habitat. It needs more grass, soil, and what does the giraffe need? More grass and soil. So let's see if we can give them some of that. So they need long grass. Make this a little larger. A little larger. There we go. Let's try some long grass, kind of maybe over here. And some long grass over here. Does that even doing anything? Let's see what the zebra wants over here. So the zebra wants soil, long grass, and short grass. I have the feeling this is going to be very difficult. Because if I get rid of the sand and replace it with soil, they may not like that. But I'll do what I can. Seems like it's not doing anything here. Even though I'm adding lots of soil, it's not changing the numbers. Oh, now it's finally changing the numbers. Wow. Alright guys, I'm going to pause it while I work on this, and I will bring you back when I am done with it. Alright, well we're back, and I screwed up. I was thinking they needed more soil, they needed a lot less. So I've kind of got the zebras into the green zone here, and now the giraffes are pretty good too. So let's see, the giraffes, on their overall welfare, they just need some more enrichment. So let's see what we can give them. And we're going to switch species to the giraffe. And let's see, what is the official name? Reticulated giraffe. Okay, because it's alphabetical. There we go. Give them a sprinkler. Give them a little scratching post or whatever that is. And we have achieved gold
I think it's fair to
on
say
our
that
zoo.
you've passed the first part of your training with flying colours. There's still lots more to learn, but we'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that. If you want to grab your passport, we'll head off, shall we?
Alright guys, so we have completed this tutorial in 2 episodes.
Sounds like you got the whole
And
zoo
in the next
purring
episode,
away
we will start
nicely.
the next
Well,
tutorial level of the
purring,
career.
grunting, screaming, booming.
Hope you've enjoyed.
All the
I am Scrapperlock,
appropriate noises.
and until
I
next
guess I was
time,
right to hire you,
this
huh?
is Planet Zoo.
Don't tell her I told you, but Nancy wasn't sure you'd even last the morning.
Oh, we lasted
we're
the
happy
morning.
This is working out, and Nancy owes me a.
I will see
foxy
you next time,
coffee.
guys, on Planet Zoo.